Hi, I'm Terry Chimes, and this is Rock and Roll Confessions. Today we're talking to Garry Bushell, who is a legendary music journalist. So we have here Garry Bushell, who's been writing about music since before I was born.
You're the reason I went into music in the first place, The Clash.
Yeah.
Those early, the Clash was changed my life without a doubt.
Well, all music journalists have got to be music fans, haven't they?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And you've been doing it so long. I mean, you must have met everyone in the world.
Yeah, well, a lot of interesting people, that's for sure. Everyone from ZZ Top to, I don't know, Zig Zig Spot.
Yeah.
A passing fad.
Bit of variety then.
A bit of variety.
Yeah.
I got tongue-tied a few times meeting people. First time I met Strom, I didn't know what to say. I thought, God, I can make a fool of myself here.
Yeah.
Debbie Harry, but I mean, Phil Lynott, and you just think these are just legends, and now what am I doing talking to them? Who am I to be talking to these people?
Well, doing this, every time you mention any name, everyone's got a story about every person now, hasn't it? It's really funny. Like Phil Lynott, I remember when I was 16, learning the drums, I saw him on TV and he said his doctor said he's going to go deaf in the next few years as he stops playing. And he said, well, you better stop playing. He said, but I can't, it's my job. And I thought, God, that's awful. Because there's me thinking I want to be in a band, but I don't want to go deaf. So I wore earplugs. Just put earplugs in throughout the whole time. Hence, I can still hear.
Well, this is the reason I'm wearing these.
Yeah.
Too many gigs with Motorhead and Maiden and bands like that.
Oh, I thought they were a fashion accessory. Well, we're still breathing. That's the main thing.
Yeah, against the odds.
So when you were like a kid and you thought, what should I do for a living? Did you think journalism from way back or what?
No, it was all, I mean, it genuinely was my desire to write. I think was genuinely inspired by The Clash. But I think as a kid, I remember being on a school exchange in France in Fréjus, and everyone obviously was French, and my French was not very good, and seeing an old copy of the Daily Mirror on the beach and reading this column by Keith Waterhouse, I said, God, well, this is good. And then I started looking at newspapers and reading the columnists and enjoying the columnists, and I think that probably planted a seed.
Yeah.
I generally think I only did started doing journalism because of the excitement and the passion of The Clash. And I was very, very, very left-wing then. And so I did my journalistic training on The Socialist Worker with Paul Foote. So that was, God, I'm not trying to think that year it was. That was probably 76, 77, yeah. Defending the Clash and punk in the paper from people who were saying, well, it's got to be dodgy because they've got these swastikas. Well, no, you look at the lyrics of the Clash. Look what they're singing about.
Oh, we had gigs where they said we're not going to allow you on the stage to have a platform for fascism. We were like, what are you talking about? It's just very strange. People are really weird, aren't they, with this stuff? But you were with Sounds, weren't you?
I was Sounds from 78. Yeah, it was weird because I heard. I'd done my own little fanzine, which no one would have heard of. And I heard that Sounds were looking for someone. I just thought they were looking for freelancers. So I got in contact, and Alan Lewis, the editor, who knew more about soul than any person I'd ever met in my life, he called me up and I showed him what I'd written. And he said, well, show us what you can do. So I thought, well, blimey. So I went out for about 8 days on the trot and put a review through the door the next day. And after that period ended, I got a phone call and they said, you got the job. So I've gone straight from being nothing, some unknown fanzine, to a staff job and Sounds. And the first band I reviewed, by happy coincidence, was The Clash at Aylesbury Friars, when they were supported by a band who that morning had been the Coventry Automatics and that night played as the Specials for the very first time.
Oh, right.
So I think it was July 78.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And Enemy had said punk was dead the year before. Enemy had given the first Clash album a bad review. They said Garageland, they should be stuck in the garage with the motor engine.
That's it, yeah.
Always with the engine running, sorry.
Yeah.
And I thought, how can it be dead? I'm going out and seeing great bands all the time. I'm
Still
seeing
growing, wasn't it then?
the Specials, the Ruts, the Members, the Skids.
But we got a great review from Sounds. Some guy called Domo or something. Remember him?
Giovanni Tadami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Never met him, but he gave us a great review right at the very, very beginning, which I thought was nice of him.
Well, we had a big fan club at Sounds. Pete Silverton would have been there, and then it was me and Dave McCulloch, Dave Angry, as he was known.
I suppose you're kind of barging into Sounds to say I want a job. It's a good lesson for youngsters these days because there's no jobs anywhere and everyone feels there's no hope. But actually, if you stick yourself out there, you can get things, can't you?
You've got to make your own luck, I think. You've got to, you can't sit there and wait for things to happen for you. You've just got, if no one knows you're there, how are you going to get noticed?
I think we all did that back then. Yeah. All just stuck out.
Well, it was fantastic, really. I mean, obviously, you know this, you lived through it, but music got very dull.
Yeah.
There were brilliant musicians in massive bands, multi-platinum bands, but they were so far removed from the fans, so far removed. It just seemed like I remember reading the music papers avidly in 75, and it was all bands like, I don't know, fantastic musicians, but Chick Corea and Al Di Meola and Weather Report and bands like that, and you just think, well, they're brilliant musicians, but they can't write a song. And there were no songs coming out of it. And it's a pub rock, obviously, as you know, came along and started kicking away, opened the doors a bit for what happened within the punk circuit.
When I was about 14, I think, I was in Holland and we found a record shop where you could say, come and listen to this. You give them the album, they put it on and you went into a little booth with headphones and listened to it. So we were there for hours.
Yeah.
And everything. And someone came in, this is brilliant, listen to this. And it was the Eagles. I thought, this is not doing anything to me at all. So, and I was looking through and I saw Alice Cooper's Killer album. Big snake on the front. I think it was a boa constrictor. I thought, this looks weird. So let's have a go at that. So I put that on. That was great. That was like smack, it was really like tough, hard music. And I thought,
Detroit rock, that.
Yeah, so I just bought that and I was up and away then with hard rock.
Well, all I'd been into as a kid was black music. I was into soul, Tamla Motown Stax, all of that. Loved it all. And then the reggae stuff. The first record I bought was My Boy Lollipop when I was about 8. And then I was getting all like Jimmy Cliff and Desmond Decker, Bob and Marcia. A bit later, Dave and Ansel Collins, and there was I remember there being a reggae version of Swan Lake. I've still got all them records up in the loft. I used to play them at family disco, family parties.
Yeah.
But in 1970, I remember watching an episode of Top of the Pops, which had Black Sabbath on doing Paranoid and Deep Purple on doing In Rock, and it was like Sartori. You think, wow, I've never heard anything like this in my life before. And of course, the Hendrix around the same time, and then the glam rock thing started. So it opened up another door to me. But I still think enough. When I interviewed Smokey Robinson about early last year, I was pinching myself.
Yeah,
I can't believe this is Smokey Robinson.
How old is he?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you. Off the top of my head. It was got to be late 70s, early 80s, isn't he? But that was the great thing about doing this second burst of life I just had as the review editor on the Sunday Express. I was talking to all these people from like Chris Squire and Steve Howe. Not Chris Squire. Sorry, he's dead. I wasn't speaking to him. Steve Howe, Steve Hewitt, people like that. Steve Hackett. Fantastic range of people. Even William Shatner.
Oh, blimey.
The great Captain Kirk.
I loved him in Airplane when I walked through and said, would you like a flower? And he goes, smash, and smudged him in the face. It's brilliant, isn't it?
But what I found out later, I didn't realise this at the time, is you can have 100 great reviews, but you have one bad one, and that's the one that sticks in your brain. No matter, it counteracts 100 good reviews.
Yeah.
So people would... So I'd interviewed them in a different life. I interviewed Les Dennis. I remember going down, I thought, he's going to be all right. And set up to do some photos on the beach, and he turned up and he just walked off. Someone's upset him. Who can that be? And it turned out it was me. Because he came back and he said, you called me Les Dennis, Less. That you invented that term. He said, you said Russ Abbott needed an operation to have me removed from his back. I thought, oh, did I? I don't remember. I'm writing hundreds of words every week.
That's the thing. For journalists, you write really funny things, and it's to the tomorrow's chip paper, isn't
exactly.
it? Whereas you write a book, it's kind of there for a long time. But yeah, I've always felt sorry for journalists in that way. Some really good things, and it's not, it doesn't last.
But it's the bad stuff that gets remembered. And it happened to me when I had the Bushell on the Book show on ITV, because my co-presenter, she wanted a bit of exposure in one of the lads' mags. Was it Loaded? One of those things. So we let them come down. And film and give them beer and everything. They're full access and blah blah blah. And the review started something like, now don't forget this was 30 years ago, and it started something like a fat little cockroach round the backs of the bins at midnight of a Chinese restaurant. Bushell on the books haunts the... Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah. Well, at least I noticed.
Never trust the press.
Well, this is what... I found a lot of musicians are very suspicious of the press because they can sometimes stab you in the back. Whereas with this, it's your own words, so you're quite, you're safe. But yeah, I remember once I did something. I had something coming out. I forget what it was. I did an interview with the Daily Star, and I said, "Oh, you don't drink, you don't smoke." I said, "No, I don't do any of that." He says, "Oh, what happened?" I said, "Well, I just stopped because it was just too much, so I just stopped." And then next thing I know, when it came out, it was nothing about the project, nothing about what I was talking. It was just about Terry's not hitting the bottle anymore. He's off the booth. Oh, for God's sake!
How long ago was that?
Oh God, that was 30 years ago, I suppose.
Well, they doorstepped me once, the Daily Star, which when I was doing a bit of telly and stuff like that, because I'd split up with my wife, and apparently it was front page news. It was TV love rat I was.
Oh, yeah.
And the great thing about it was the front page had a picture of me as a TV love rat and Baby Spice. I think, well, people passing by are going to think me and Baby Spice.
Oh, well.
But it obviously wasn't.
Could do worse, I suppose.
But I got a phone call the day before from someone at the paper. Said, "Watch yourself." He said, "They've got everything apart from a picture." And I thought, this is a bit odd. Okay. So even as I put the phone down, ding dong, looked out the window and I could see a woman and a guy with a camera bag. I thought, okay, I know who you are. So I said to my wife to be, I said, go down to the garage, drive out, park around the corner. I'll go out first to distract them. They'll follow me, and you get away and we'll meet up, around the corner.
Yeah.
So I got out. I put a copy of The Sun under my arm just to make it obvious. I walked very, very slowly, and I thought, where are they? And I got to the edge of the road, looked back, and they're sitting in the car chatting. They hadn't even seen me leave. So I just said to Tom, "Come on, just meet around the corner now and we're going." They haven't seen me. And we got away from it. The other time, they had their district man stalking me out, trying to get, and I thought, I had just done a Mrs. Merton show, and because of the divorce, I was in a bit of a cash flow situation. I had a £2,000 check come, so I thought, I've got to pay this in today. So how do I get rid of him? So I got my mate, a comedian, Mickey Pugh, to ring up the Daily Star news desk, because I knew that he'd be the only person they had for miles and miles, and make up some story that Jim Davidson was in the pub about 3 miles away, and he walked in with 2 page 3 girls, and he was doing cocaine on the bar. So I see him take the call, and he's gone straight in his car and shot off. I thought, well, okay, I walk out, pay me check in, come back up, and I don't care if you come now.
That'll give you a nice feeling of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst thing about it was they took the story and didn't even mention your project. That was...
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's, I think everyone's had that happen or something like it.
But I never tried to do that. Never did that sort of journalism, because what I'd like to do is just try and get to know the person, to find out what they were like, so whatever their interests were, what their great experiences were, what their worst experiences, what they've got agitated about. It was about them. It wasn't about, I mean, Danny Baker, who was a genius, of course, but Danny used to say, I'm as important as the acts. I thought, no, you're not. Our job is to get the acts to open up. It isn't to try and make ourselves equivalent to them.
That's why you've got to have people on this sort of thing that talk.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything, then I've got to make the space up by talking, which is not the idea. Yeah.
Well, you've got enough stories. I'll just sit and listen to you.
Oh, I've got loads of them, yeah, but I've done those already on my social media. But what I found is in the music business, people are interested in quite trivial details of what went on in the dressing room before a gig or in the studio when you recorded. They love all that sort of thing. That's what made me think it'd be good to do a podcast.
When I met Ozzy Osbourne, I did so many things with Ozzy. He was just the funniest bloke I'd ever met. And I'd met comedians, and and Ozzy everything was like a one-liner with him.
Yeah.
He had that wonderful primary sense of humour.
Well, I met him 37 years ago. And at the time, I said to my pals I was with, I said, he's not going to last another year the way he's carrying on. And here we are, 37 years later, just lost him.
I'd never seen one drink so much. I was supposed to be writing his book. This, by the way, never happened.
Right.
And we met a 12-hour interview session. We really only about 2. It involved meeting in the pub, going back to some place they were renting near Grosvenor Square, drink a couple of those speed involved and all sorts of, and then we gone back out to a Chinese restaurant, then back out to the pub. Surprisingly, nothing came of this interview. But at one point, we'd back at his place about 12, and I think I was falling asleep on whatever was on the telly, and I thought the bastard's throwing things at me. So I sort of growled at him, and I said, yeah. And I stayed the night there. I went up to bed, and I got up the next morning, went through the day, went back to my mum's where I got my car there to drive home. And it was only on the Monday that my guitarist in the Gonads came to my front door and said, "Gal, where's your eyebrows?" The bastard had shaved my eyebrows off.
Oh, yeah, he was a prankster, wasn't he? Yeah.
But I was lucky because on the road with him, he would piss in people's pockets. He would set fire to people's hair.
You're lucky. Could have given you a circumcision.
He could have done. Imagine, he was pissed. I was pissed. He's got that close to my eye with some scissors.
Yeah.
That's the worrying thing.
That is slightly scary, yeah.
Every time you went away with him, there was some great story. Some terrible stories, though. I mean, I once walked into a Florida hotel with them when they were checking in, and Ozzy decided he needed a crap. But rather than just sort of asking where the restrooms were like a normal person, he just dropped his trousers and had a crap in the ashtray. So we were not allowed to check in. We were escorted from the premises. I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, well, when you're a prankster, I suppose you can't get it right every time, can you? Sometimes you go too far.
An organist who never went on stage, in the wings with the Blizzard of Oz, made him wear full stage gear, full stage makeup every night just for a laugh, just to take the piss out.
That's funny. I think you just feel missing out, wouldn't you, if you're in the wings? You want to see the audience, really.
But why is he making? Yeah, it's just part of his twisted sense of humour.
I worked with Sabbath for a year, but not with. Ozzy was out of the band for 16 years, I think it was. Ages. Yeah. That was fun.
Well, I met their ex-manager, Wilf Pine, who I didn't know at the time, but was the only Englishman ever to become a member of the Gambino family. So he was a bit tasty on that villainous front.
We had a Gambino as a tour manager. Robert, I think it was Robert Gambino.
Was he American?
He's kind of transatlantic sort of person. Don't know.
Did you get paid?
Well, I got paid. I don't know who else got paid. Yeah.
Well, Wilf was telling me about how he'd been a villain in the 60s and how he'd be in London and him and his little gang, and he come from the Isle of Wight, him and his little gang would raid South London and let them think they were with the Crays, then raid places in East London and let them think they were with the Richardsons.
Yeah.
So he's just winding up all the time. But it was him that took me into meet Roddy Cray.
Yeah.
And Roddy had been, and he wanted us to run. We did a thing in the Sun, I think, about how long they got in prison, and basically saying these paedophiles who murdered a 15-year-old boy got something like 14 years, and Roddy was saying, well, Roddy's got 28 years. How's that justice? We only killed our own kind, right thing. So the big poll in the paper, and I think about 80% said they should get out sooner. But the funny thing about him was he was immaculate. I remember sitting there with Wolf for the first time in Broadmoor, and he said, in a minute, he said, let's see who's sitting behind you.
So it's Wilf and you and Ronnie Cray in Broadmoor.
Yeah, but we're waiting for Ronnie the first time.
Yeah.
And Wolf has said, have a look who's sitting behind you, but don't make it obvious. So I look, Yorkshire Ripper sitting there.
Oh my God.
You fat and horrible and sweaty, and his old mum's holding his hand. I thought, and then Ronnie comes down, very softly spoken, surprisingly. Always had lots of Tom on, very immaculately dressed, tie clip and everything. And he just wanted to gossip. He wanted showbiz stories. He wanted to hear about bands and things. That's all he wanted to do. And he must have invited me back about 5-6 times. The very last time, he said to me, Garry said, you know little Kylie Minogue, don't you? I said, well, I know of Kylie. Can you bring her down? I said, I don't know, Ron. I mean, I can ask management. And he said, yeah, and he started singing I Should Be So Lucky, just a burst of it. And I thought, I must be the only person in the world who's ever heard Ronnie Cray sing a Kylie Minogue song.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah.
I never went again after that.
It's a funny world, isn't it? Well, when I was working with Tanner Rock's Nasty Suicide, Carol Clark was a friend of his, and she interviewed Ronnie, and she came to Nasty and said, I've got some lyrics that Ronnie Cray's written. Can you put some music to them? We can make a song, you know. But it was like about 2 lines, and then like a lot of down, and it's just like walking. And when Marcy said to me, do you know this guy called Ronnie Cray? I'm trying to write a song with him. I thought, hang on, no, you got that written. I don't mean the Ronnie Cray who's in prison. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I thought, what the hell? I thought someone had slipped some drugs and be drinking. The world is very strange sometimes, isn't it?
The people we've known and the amount they drank, how they ever survived to old age, or quite a lot of them didn't, did they? But
Johnny Thunders surpassed expectations. He died in about 91, I think. So that was a long time after I first knew him.
Pete Way, UFO.
Yeah,
poor old sir. Yeah. He was such a demon for it that he was the only person that Sharon Osbourne banned Ozzy from associating with. Said he was a bad influence on Ozzy. That's how bad Pete was.
You should have a badge made for that.
I was managing this band called The Blood from South East London, who were just pissed. So they were brilliant. They were so good. But they wouldn't do anything. They wanted to hype their way. They wanted to scam their way. And I said, look, the time of scam's gone. I mean, Pistols have done it. Spandau have done it. You can't do it now. Everyone's alert to it. You've got to just go out there and work. And so reluctantly, they agreed to do a tour. One night, I put them on the Walthamstow Royal Standard, headline in there. And I've gone there and I said, who's your designated driver? And they said, he is. And put some bloke who was passed out under the table. And then Jamie, the guitarist, who sadly drank himself to death, he said to me, Garry, he said, you're the most sober here, you better drive us. So that's how I've ended up driving this lorry. I've never driven a lorry before. I was driving an automatic at the time, over from Walthamstow back to Shooters Hill, which is where they were. But we went over with Jamie changing gears. We went over a roundabout, and I mean literally over a roundabout, not round it.
Yeah.
How we got home, I don't know.
Because you can.
We have a thing called the Punk Rock Curry Club. We sort of tour it round a bit.
Yeah.
We've had an inaugural opening one in Los Angeles. We've had it up in Blackpool, but normally it's Whitechapel or South East London.
So who goes to the Punk Curry Club? Who's in that?
Oh, we've had Buster Bloodvessel. We've had Lars from Rancid. We've had Charlie Harper. We've had some these people, 1+ people from In for Riot and.
Charlie Harper's got a book out, hasn't he?
He's got a book out, yeah.
Yeah, I have to find out about that.
He was going to give me a copy, but he left it in the boot. So I haven't actually read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a book now, haven't they?
Have you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, I should have bought one for you.
Give
I'll
it
send
a
you
plug.
one.
Give it a plug.
Yeah, it's called The Strange Case of Dr. Terry and Mr. Chimes.
Oh, yeah.
My career change.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll send you over a copy. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough job writing a book, isn't it? I mean, it'd be all right for you as a writer, but when you're not a writer, it's hard.
Well, it is. I mean, really, you need. I'd always advise someone who is not a writer to have someone asking them questions and making sure that that they're not missing anything out. Because you read a book and someone will say something, you think, well, what happened next, or why did that happen? And they don't answer the question, so you're hanging in the air a bit.
Yeah.
I've got a book of short stories coming out in October, which is the first one I've tried to do of that.
Oh.
And the 6th volume of my private detective saga is due out in about 18 months' time.
Oh.
So we almost had it away as a film. It was going to be a film.
I was going to say, I like watching whodunits. I'm watching Foyle's War at the moment.
Oh, yes, really well done.
Really nice.
Yeah, beautifully written. Yeah.
It's a shame when you get to the end of the series, you think, oh, it's finished. I've got to find something else to watch now.
I could be happy watching Columbo all afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's such a beautiful piece of work that is.
I've got a little boy watch it, but because he's 10, he's like, when they're going to get to the point, because he has that, I'm sorry to ask you, I'm sorry to bother you. You probably think I'm he drags it out, doesn't he? And when you're an adult, you think it's funny, but as a 10, is that, what's wrong with this man? So it's not really working. But
Did you see the ones they've had other shows that have tried to do a Columbo in different, like Monk was a guy with.
Oh, I love Monk.
Monk, yeah, obviously Columbo with something, a different sort of tick going on.
Oh, Monk was great. Yeah. 120 episodes.
And what's the other one? More recently, with a woman, Poker Face. Have you seen that?
No.
She's good. She can tell if you're lying or not.
Well,
so she's very valuable if you want, trying to discern the truth, but not so good to be around criminals.
But I think any woman can do that, can't she?
Wives can do it generally.
Wives can do it. Yeah. Well, let's look at these books then. Short stories and crime novels.
Yeah.
Your fingers must never stop.
Well, I'm writing 3 at the moment, so it's a bit. I did a couple of. People seem more interested about stories from the old days. So I did Sounds of Glory, which was about punk and ska, and the second volume was about the rock bands, ZZ Top. Hanoi Rocks, you mentioned them, yeah. Hanoi Rocks, I went to India with them, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, I would have been wild, yeah. Plenty of curry there.
There's plenty of curry, but we weren't allowed to eat it. Not in Bombay, Mumbai was called Bombay back then. And that was the first thing the promoter said, don't eat the local food. If you want something, an Indian guy, he said, if you want something, go to a Chinese restaurant. It wasn't until we got to Delhi that they said, oh, well, it's fine now.
Oh. But I remember being in India. I've been in India a lot. And I was dying of thirst. There's a hose pipe, so I just think it's probably just tap water. So I probably just rainwater. So I just got me mouth and went to the legit. And there's a whole horde of people going, no! I better not drink that then. Yeah.
I remember we got there and with Razzle, the drummer, and we're down the end of the pier. And this geezer's come up and we're about 6:30 in the morning. We're drinking vodka and orange on the pier. Because we can't sleep, we just got back the day before. We got there before. And the geezer's come up, he's got a scorpion in a box. He's got a tarantula in a box. Something else in a box. And you got any proper food, mate? It was just... But there was the begging culture. It was constant. You stop in traffic and someone's going to put their stump through the window.
Oh, yeah, get that. Oh, yeah. People with no arms and no legs.
Monkeys fighting with sticks. I had a knocking. I was on the first floor of this hotel, and somebody was knocking on the window. That can't be right. I've opened the window, and some woman's got a baby balanced on a pole.
Oh yeah, I remember I was walking around in Brazil with a friend of mine who's very sensitive, and she said, "Hello, nice to see you," and all this. And she said, "Look, I've got a baby, and I need some money." And then I was like, "Oh, not really." And then she pulled her breast out and squeezed it. I'm not lying, and squeezed milk whoosh, like this. And he went, "Oh, it's $10. Don't do that again." I thought you could do it again if you like. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, all sorts of things, don't you, from the third world? Yeah.
I mean, all we ever had growing up was tramps down in Deptford with a bit of string tied around their waist. That was about the extent of the begging back then.
Yeah, in 1976, I think it was, or when there was the dustman strike, there was rubbish everywhere all over London. Yeah. I remember I put my foot down in the rubbish and it moved. I thought, oh, man, it's a tramp. He pulled his foot and I'd maybe jump out my skin. So yeah, that was a strange time. He didn't do any entertainment or anything. Just laying there.
But that was the lucky thing I had, was the entertainment side, because after I'd done the music side, I'd left Sounds because I thought I've got to get out, because it shouldn't be full of old people with tour jackets as it was. I thought I don't want to turn into that. I want to, if I go and Dave McCulloch goes, then more young people will come up and there'll be more enthusiasm. I don't know if it happened or not, but I did Iron Maiden's book, official book, and that was when Bruce Dickinson nearly killed me.
Did he?
Because
with
a sword. I'd done all the interviews, and he was driving me and my ex-wife to a rehearsal. They were having a rehearsal, and he seemed to have forgot he was in Florida, and he's turned up the exit.
Oh God, yeah.
From a 5-lane.
Yeah, we've all done that on the. Well, the thing is, the first day you're so paranoid you're going the wrong side. You're really careful. Then when you get used to it, that's when you go. I remember driving in France. She said, "It's the wrong way." I said, "No, unless it's down here." No, the wrong side of the road. Oh, and then a car came flying at me. I'm going to move over to the other side. But yeah, that's
we got hit, but not very hard. So we managed to slow down. Yeah. I thought for years after that, they let this bloke fly.
Yeah,
let him be a pilot.
Well, there's not much traffic up there, is there? If you're flying,
I suppose. I started working on Fleet Street by accident because Pat Stead, I don't know if you knew her. She worked for CBS Press. She married uh, Bruce Foxton.
Oh, okay.
She phoned me up and said, John Blake had gone to he'd had a column in the Sun, and he'd gone to the Daily Mirror and started the White Hot Club, and the Sun were panicking. They brought in Nick Ferrara and a guy called Martin Dunn, and they were looking for people to work on there and anyone to go and do shifts. And I thought, well, I can't really do that. She said, no, do it. So I took a couple of black bombers and went up and did a 2-day shift. I'm sitting there typing like mad all day long. And at the end, I felt that was it. And then I started getting people from other papers, ad-lib, do you want to come work on the Standard for a week? Do you want to come and work at the Mirror for 6 weeks? I thought, that's how it all got.
Yeah.
But the rivalry between the papers led to some strange things, because the Eurythmics were annoyed with the newspapers for the reviews they got. So they challenged Bizarre column that I was working for to fight the White Hot Club. So I thought, I'm supposed to be boxing.
Fight as in
boxing on a boxing ring.
Words.
And so they set up a proper boxing ring somewhere in Covent Garden. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm supposed to be fighting John Blake. And I thought, I quite fancy the chances. And I got the geezer from the Bridge House to train me up. And I went in the corner, all done up, ready for the fight. I think, this is going to be great. Then I saw Blake and he's still wearing a tuxedo. I thought, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Then the Rocky music rang out. Da 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 da. Yeah. And I see this figure coming through. A black boxer with a hood over his head, with two even bigger black guys as his ringmen. And I thought, it's going to be Frank Bruno. I'd seen Frank and I knew Frank, and I thought, that's going to be all right. When he took it off, it was Lloyd Hannigan. So obviously shorter than Frank. Yeah. But Glenn Murphy said to me, he said, no, it'll be all right, Cal. He said, because he knows he's doing it for charity. But he didn't. He was 6 weeks away from the Johnny Bumpford's title fight. So they said me go in and jab and move. So I went in and jabbed and moved.
Jab and move?
Jab and move. I'm doing a little bit of ducking and diving and jab. All of a sudden, a red mist came down over his eyes. He just went, boom, and I'm on my back. Yeah.
What? How could you imagine that wasn't going to happen?
Well, they rang for the end of round one. I've gone back into the corner, and Glenn said to me, he said, when you go back in. I said, what do you mean go back in? The man's a world champion boxer. Yeah. He said, it's all right, we've had a word. Someone had gone round to his corner and said, look, our guy's unlicensed. You'll lose your license if you fight him. So the next round, he made it look like I was hurting him. So we did 2 rounds, and I was judged the winner on points, ridiculously. Lovely. So I got $5,000 for Help the Aged, and then the press got hold of it. And the next day, whoever his corner man was, whoever his trainer was, told the press that it happened because I had tried to knock him out, which was bollocks. Like I'm going to try and knock out Lloyd Hannigan. But at the same time, it was actually, I thought, I didn't quite mind it, because being known as the nutcase he tried to take out the champ, that was all right.
Yeah. I still would have got in the ring, just in case.
He was all right the second one. In fact, he apologised to me years later.
Yeah. I remember Bernard Manning. I forget who the boxer was. It was a world champion boxer. Who was it there? A little guy. Just was really full of Irish, I think it was. Just smacked it all.
Oh, Barry McGuigan. Yeah.
Yeah, Barry McGuigan. And Bernard Manning, the comedian, he said, I'd like to get this Barry McGuigan in bed with me and the wife. He said, nothing kinky. I'd just like to get a jump start on his bollocks. So that was really the very Bernard Manning, isn't it? So,
well, that was our great thing of working for the press, was I managed to meet loads of people who were my comedy idols. Because growing up, comedy was one of the big things for me. Right from I used to listen to a lot of radio comedy. I'm sorry I'll read that again. Round the Horn.
Some comedians are a bit weird when you meet them, aren't they? They're not.
A lot of them are.
You think they're going to be all jolly and laughing, and sometimes they're really miserable.
Well, the worst was Freddie Starr, because I'd seen him do his act, and everyone was, he was quite, he was quite an edge of genius to him. But backstage, it was like suicidal. And it was telling me all about how his dad had tormented him as a kid, and how he'd sat him on a kitchen shelf and said, jump, I'll catch you. And he jumped and he didn't catch him, to teach him a lesson, apparently, about don't never trust anyone in your life. Quite screwed up, is that? So he was really weird, Freddie.
I remember seeing him on charades. Charades what was the name of what they call it? The TV show. It
Oh.
was charades. You say book, movie, film, and you act it out.
Yeah.
And he was on there, and he was so frustrated. He's banging his head on the floor and just with frustration.
What was it called?
I don't know.
It was Win, Lose or Draw, but it wasn't that one, was it? It was one before it. Give us a clue, was it?
That's it. Give us a clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, he needs some help. This guy, he needs to be, But I loved him though. He's funny as hell.
I did loved all the. I mean, a lot of American shows growing up, and the classic sitcoms. We had such a great run. I mean, I was 14 when Python started, or 13, depending what part of the year it was.
Yeah.
I'm coming into school the next day, and everyone would try to reciting all the lines from Python the night
Always,
before.
every whatever it was, Wednesday morning, wherever it was, everyone would come in having seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it, I can't remember what night of the week it was, but we go into school the next day.
Yeah.
But I thought it was entirely possible to like Python, but also like Steptoe and Son. The idea that you could only laugh at people your own age, which seems to be accepted now, was nonsensical.
I don't know. Steptoe I found frustrating because he was always trying to get the girl, and he never did, and it frustrated me watching it.
Poor old Harold.
Yeah.
Bill Coe, if we had that on.
I like the Beverly Hillbillies. I like.
It was brilliant. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the characters now.
Jed Clampett.
Dave Allen was just genius.
Yeah, he was funny. Yeah. Actually, I keep seeing on Facebook lately, what's his name? Lee Mack, and I don't know what series it was. Very, very funny.
Oh, with the whose line is it? Oh, Would You Lie to Me?
Is it? Oh no, not that one. Yeah, I've seen that, but this was before that, I think, or maybe during the early.
Oh, the sitcom he's got.
Yeah.
Not Going Out.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh no, not that. No, not that. No,
not
this is a sketch show. Sketches.
Oh, blimey.
He's a jockey in one of them, talking Irish. It's very funny.
Yeah, he's very good and he's very quick.
Yeah. He's amazing. Oh, I've watched about 1 million episodes of Would I Lie to You. It's so good. Yeah.
It's one of the things you could never get tired of, because the interplay between the two, they're so different but funny in their own ways.
Yeah.
Did you watch Last One Laughing?
Oh, yeah. I liked it when this is the show where 12 comedians are trying to make each other laugh, and if you laugh, you get booted out. So they're desperately trying not to laugh, and they're straight out of their face, and there's tears coming down their eyes. It's so funny. And it's a silly little thing, makes them laugh in the end, doesn't it? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It must have been loads of comedians.
Yeah, Vic and Bob, Harry Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, and then before that, the other generation, Mike Reed. I remember Mike Reed was very paranoid, a very brilliant comedian, but very paranoid. He grew his own dope.
Did he?
And he lived out in Essex and Wicklow. He grew his own dope, and he used to store it in black bags in the shed. And one day he's got a new cleaner in, and the cleaner's gone into. He said, "Mr. Reed," he said, "I put all those bags of rubbish out for the dustman." Taken off.
Oh.
God knows what street value that would have been. But he's only doing it for himself.
Yeah.
He used to smoke on EastEnders. He used to get in the early days with joining the soap. He the actual corner shop set had real chocolate bars in, so he'd get the munchies after a few spliffs and go and raid the corner shop.
How about the really older comedians? Going back before that? You must have interviewed a few really older ones.
I knew Jimmy Jones.
Yeah.
Who was the Beatles' favourite, as well as Iron Maiden's, and I remember going to see him when I was 17 down at Woolwich Tramshed, and I'd never laughed so much in my life. He'd just gag after gag after gag. Now you go and see a comedian, and they want to be a social worker, they want to be a politician, they want to be a counsellor. No, just make me laugh. That's your job.
Yeah.
Benny Hill I knew pretty well.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he was a lovely man, really humble, very modest man.
You didn't really have much idea what he was like. When you saw him on TV, you couldn't imagine what it was like.
That's when he came alive on TV. Off stage, off camera, he was very quiet. He really was a humble man, and he was devastated when Thames TV axed him after all the millions he made them. That show was sold to 100 countries around the world, and to call him in and sack him in a 10-minute meeting, is heartbreaking for him.
Yeah. I might should see Americans. Oh, Benny Hill, right?
Still to this day, don't they?
Yeah.
There's not a rapper you ever meet who's not a fan of Benny Hill. And Clint Eastwood's a big fan, believe it or not. Jacko was.
Yeah.
Not but that's a good idea, thing or not.
Well, to go and get out some old videos of comedy now. He said all that.
There were some good ones, wasn't there?
I remember Benny Hill saying, defending himself, saying, "Look, they say my show's full of innuendo, but I thought that was a Spanish suppository or Italian, was it? Italian suppository." Yeah.
He used to phone me up, and when I got to know him, he used to phone me up and say, "Have you seen this on the telly? You could write about that," and things like that.
Oh.
When I was doing the TV column,
Yeah.
he was a
Because these days he would just go straight to a podcast, wouldn't he?
yeah, I guess yeah.
Carry on doing it, but those days that wasn't possible.
I would never have anticipated the career I've had, the career that would take me to being driven over the Brooklyn Bridge by Debbie Harry and to be on stage in a pantomime in Southend, to actually with Ross Kemp and people like that, to actually end up having a fight with Rod Hull, literally having a fight with Rod Hull. He used to use that emu to molest the women in the cast.
He was vicious with that. He had that emu and he would just grab people between the legs, men or women, I think.
He upset some of the women. I just thought,
nutter.
I can't have this. So I went and got my own emu. And he did it in the wings, and he had to knock me down in this panto twice at a show, and he did it as hard as he could always. So before he came to do it the second time, he said, "Hold on a minute," and he looked a bit puzzled. I said, "Hold on," and I went off into the wings, come back with my emu, and his eyes lit up. He said, "Oh, you want to know, do you?" I said, "Yes, I do." And so he's gonna hit me, and I've started hitting him, and the kids were all screaming with laughter. They thought it was part of the show.
Yes, of course.
So we've gone out like what do you call it? I can't remember. Sorry, old age brain fog. Itchy and scratchy, we've gone like fighting like that. We've gone back into the wings.
Yeah.
And he said, "Do you want some more?" I said, "Yes, I do." So we've gone out again. We hit each other. And I tell you what, he calmed down after that.
Well, yeah.
It was it was a shame. I mean, it was.
I suppose the pantomime, you can't go wrong because they just laugh at whatever happens, don't they? So
first night, I'm sitting there with my friend Garry Johnson, who used to work for Sounds.
I remember him. Yeah.
Gary, the old the Cockney poet, and his this woman come up to us. She said, "You know Grant, don't you?" I said, "Well, I know Russ Kemp." No, Grant, what that Sharon's done to him, that bitch, that cow. I'm looking around for cameras. I thought it was some sort of wind up.
Oh, she thought it was all real. So,
She was just totally demented soap fan.
Yeah.
But I had some strange...
There's probably thousands of those out there that think it's all real. Yeah.
Well, it's what people say. People say the most ridiculous things to you. I mean, I've had someone come up to me and say, "You look like Garry Bushell, no offence." I was with Garry Johnson again in some working men's club in Basildon, and this woman's come up to me and said, "You think you look like him, but you ain't." I said, "What?" She said, "You think you look like Garry Bushell, but you ain't. I see you signing on last week wearing a motorcycle jacket." So not only is it not me, I haven't got a job. I'm signing on. In Romford. She said I was signing on in Romford and I'm riding a motorbike. I thought, this is just me. So I said, "Yeah, you got me."
Yeah.
What can you do? It's weird, these things.
Just roll with it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I mean, the levels of elation. But even though, I mean, obviously the Clash was hugely loved, and you in those early days, but you had violence at the gigs, didn't you? It got a bit heavy at points.
Yeah, a bit of it. But looking back, I don't think we ever really felt very threatened. I got a kick in the face, mind you, once, but not really that bad.
When did you leave?
Well, I left, but they couldn't find anyone, so I carried on doing a few gigs and the first album and a few more gigs, and then finally they found Topper, who carried it on. Then did a great job, and then when he fell out with them, I came back and did a bit more.
Because they called you Terry Chimes on the back of the album, didn't they?
Well, you never thought, it was just a little throwaway joke at the time. You never thought that 50 years later you'd be discussing it with a journalist on a podcast. Well, no. They weren't podcasts anyway then, but you know.
But that's the thing. I think it was such an exciting time.
Yeah.
That it's. I mean, maybe for us, could we live through it, and because it affected our lives permanently. But even now, if I go and do a reading of one of the books, people are more interested in asking stories about sounds than they are about anything about the detective.
Yeah, they want the past. Yeah, with music as well. They want to hear the music of the past. Don't they?
Yeah. So that's why I use I'll figure out the old Aussie stories. They always go down well.
Just keep feeding them what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can do.
Lovely. Well, thanks for coming in. It's been fantastic. We could do another 14 hours of this, couldn't we?
I think we had just got started.
We'll probably come back for another one, maybe. Yeah.
Terry, pleasure.
And you.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, and you. You can now buy a copy of my autobiography, The Strange Case of Dr. Terry and Mr. Chimes. It's £12 for a signed copy, plus postage. If you want one, you just go to terrychimes.com.
All the art that makes up the set, or Rock and Roll Confessions, is made by me, Mark Illuminati. Check out all my work at www.illuminatineon.com. The link to contact me is in the description. All the art is for sale, and I hope you like it. It's got a nice punky feel to it, and I've pretty much covered all our favourite bands. Enjoy.